We have gathered today here, the two of us, to have a short interview and insights on Alpha Sect. Welcome, first of all, and much thanks for joining us.
Thank you, thank you. We're not alone. We have the crowd behind you and the people watching us. So a lot of people really excited for this edition to be part of it. It's gonna be really cool. Many artists, very good artists will be on the lineup, and I think it's gonna be a very, very strong edition. Glad to be part of it.
It is going to be, yes, for sure. I mean, every edition overcomes the other one, and yeah, it's amazing year by year. It's nice to wait for it, and also nice to see which is the final result. And yeah, as you say, we have a strong audience here, a very loyal audience, an audience that's yeah, most of them are with OMBRA since the very beginnings. And actually, this caption is quite representative for the amount of people, the vibes, the insane visuals that we had in the operator stage. It was amazing.
Very nice, very nice.
You had it planned to come, and then you're coming,
Yeah.
but you're not coming as a guest. How does that feel?
Exactly. A big excitement, to be honest, to present it to the OMBRA crowd, because I've seen and I've heard a lot of friends of mine have gone to OMBRA Festival, and they support it like every year almost. And the OMBRA crowd is something special. I recently have discovered the Telegram channel of the OMBRA as well, where I see a lot of activity going on. The community is engaged, people asking questions. People are waiting for OMBRA Festival, even though it's like in a couple of months, and people are looking forward. They are eager to it. It's very nice to see a public that is engaged, and public that has done its homework, let's say, to check out artists, listen to songs, releases, and yeah, prepare themselves to see what they want and like to hear.
You are right. You're touching a lot of subjects here, also about the community being very, very, very engaged with the artists. They're very curious. They're very hungry for new music. They like to exchange opinions, whether they go for a concert or whether they exchange opinions about the festival itself. They are really alimented by that, and it's great.
Exactly, the music sect. The music sect. It actually, I mean, I've started as a guitarist playing in post-metal and post-rock bands way before that, like 10 to 15 years ago. And Alpha Sect came out, let's say, around 5 years ago. I started writing the first material like 6 years ago, maybe. And actually, at the moment, I didn't really, let's say, identify myself to a genre. I just liked a lot of things, and I tried to interpret it by myself and with a more, let's say, club or experimental, let's say, point of view or approach. And I can say that I listen to a lot of music. I can listen to rap, hip hop, metal, to EBM, to classical music, to Greek music, whatever. It really depends. My tastes are like really variated, and so Alpha Sect is actually the sum of all the things and the elements that I like in different songs and in different genres of songs: the rhythm, the groove, the vocals, the strong bass lines, which are fundamental of EBM, like the heavy hitting snares, the kicks of the techno scene. So actually a lot of things that I like, and I cannot really, let's say, identify myself. Let's say I'm 100% EBM or 100% industrial or 100% post-punk. I think I like a lot of stuff, a lot of music. So whatever I like, I try to interpret it myself with my, let's say, signature in my own world.
Sur toutes les pages lues, sur toutes les pages blanches, pierre sans papier ou cendre.
So you did remixes for Giorgio Moroder, for example, and yeah. So
Doing the remix. This is like the proof of me liking a lot of things. I do a lot of edits, a lot of remixes from different things, not only giving them a more Italo, EBM touch, depending. So actually, yeah, I'm inspired by many artists. In Greece, we have really a very, very strong scene, both in Thessaloniki, in Athens, and mostly let's say, in the whole Greece, and even in towns like Larissa, there's a scene going on. People are trying to host parties and keep people engaged. So it's really nice. I wouldn't, let's say, really an artist, but mostly like different waves and periods of music, because I can listen to minimal Greek wave, punk Greek music from Athens or Thessaloniki. Yeah, I mean, there are, let's say, many people on the scene trying to engage and make very cool things, and try to include more and more people, actually, because EBM, purely EBM in Greece, remains more marginal, let's say, music. I wouldn't say that there are more than 500, 600 people in the whole Greece going to EBM events.
Really?
It's that people.
Oh.
There are people that are curious to learn, people that listen to electronic music. The EBM scene, I think it's really small compared to other, let's say, genres, techno, house, disco, or whatever. But people are engaged. They're really engaged. Everyone knows everyone. It's like a small family. I think this is how OMBRA works as well. Like, everyone knows each other, the artists. So yeah, we are a small family in Greece, in EBM in general. And it's getting really strong, and people in Athens have created a lot of genres. Thessaloniki, just to mention a few, you have OSM Tapes in Thessaloniki. In Athens, you have P Label, you have Vanilla, of course, shaping the Athens, let's say, industrial scene. Of course, you have Fabrica Records with Cellophane. There are many acts in Greece that mostly are really famous and strong in Greece, but they don't play as much in Greece, for example.
So they get they're taking over other places rather than the home country, which is good, basically, because it's taking the genre from the local scene in Greece to be known outside.
Totally. There are many.
Do you know Kalte Nacht?
Exactly. Yeah, I was about to mention Kalte Nacht as well. That I know they will participate in OMBRA Festival, which is very nice. So Greece is going to be represented.
Yes, a lot.
Yeah, I first started playing piano, to be honest, and then I switched on to guitar. I always wanted to play the bass, to be honest, but I went for the guitar. I don't know why, but I always wanted the bass. And I always played, like, as I said, in post-metal and post-rock bands, so I was like the heavy chords, like down tunings, a lot of melodies inspired by post-rock. So yeah, I really like the bass lines, and I really try to vary my bass lines in the tracks, not to make one track with the same bass line, so I get bored, actually. So if I don't get bored, then I release the track.
Yes, that's a good way to evaluate your track. How is it to pass from a band to being the one-man show? And I think you're also like a bit closer to the public by your concept. Exactly. How is it to pass that even closer in the audience?
It's actually demands a lot of preparation beforehand, because you need to, you're alone, so you have to only know exactly the moments where you can dance or whatever and be close to the public, so you can also play the scenes and change the patterns for the drum loops, for example. So I mostly have to train a lot and prepare myself a lot for it to be able to feel, let's say, confident to do this, what you'll be seeing in OMBRA Festival. And for those that were in other festivals as well, I played, you can see it there. Yeah. So it actually takes a lot of preparation, because you're alone. You don't have anyone to change the patterns for you. I play with some stuff, let's say, since I'm alone, I have a backing tracks, most of my tracks that are already released. But I add elements on top of them. The drum patterns are not, let's say, pre-recorded. I put voices in it. So I have a lot of elements that I add along with my drum pad here. So takes a lot of coordination. that's what I like about the live, because it has live energy. Mistakes will be made. It's just the energy, the moment of the flow. People are watching you create something, and I think this is the pure energy of music. You know, like co-creating the same song that you like and they like with you, and make them new people to listen to you and say, yeah, okay, I like this. You know, that's the talent.
If you could choose an all-time mentor in music, who would be your, yeah, someone, yeah, so all-time, you don't need to say someone who's like actually living now.
Yeah, I think it would be someone with a mix of Vangelis and Jean-Michel Jarre.
Wow.
And I would like to also have the experimental approach of Nicolas Jarre in it. And I think this melange, you know, of feelings, of scenes, of textures, of depth, of sound, of like, I think these three people combined would create something phenomenal in the depths of something we cannot really maybe imagine at the moment of music in 2024. And I think I would really, you know, love to be able to talk and learn from these people, because they are high value estimate for me. So I wish I could have done this, you know. For Jean-Michel Jarre, I would say first, I mean, like Oxygen, like I watched a lot of documentaries about the composition, the parts, his life, and when it came out, you know, it was the thing, even though it wasn't something, let's say, popular at the moment. So he shaped the future of music with that release. And I think it's like you're doing something that you like. Totally, he was just creating the things that he liked in his ears, and he totally changed the music world and the music creations, you know, at the moment. And I think for Vangelis, it's the same. His approach, his textures, you know, in all of his works, something that you don't forget, and it doesn't age. You know, for me, this is the music. It doesn't have to be catchy at first. The most important thing is how the music ages, like the wine, you know.
Exactly, like the wine.
And I'm inviting people to discover another world with a world that has this kind of elements, these percussions from the 80s, the strong bass lines, the melodies, some vocals, of course, and this will give them a door to something else. Maybe it can work for someone, for many, for thousands, or I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's a matter also of testing the waters and to try to, yeah, to reach where you haven't reached yet. Because surprises may show up. For example, we had last year we tried to touch the upper ground society with the OMBRA experimental attacks. And the first one was the most powerful one because of the location itself. We took Abrachas, who is quite noisy and very anti-system, rebellious music. He also has his motto is dancing as an act of rebellion, and we took him in with all his gears, and we took the experimental attack in the center of Barcelona, in a place where you wouldn't expect to see anyone, not even a trace of a person, like to be in black or listening to this heavy music that we like to listen and powerful messages. And it was impressive. People, even kids, would stop and watch and listen
Exactly.
to Abrachas, and a lot of people, all ages, stopped. We were making also this questions. We were asking questions to the people who would stop, and we quite had a very good reaction. And this is what we concluded in the end, that you can find your audience also out there. It's just a matter of how you tackle the environment and how you get to them, how you present the sound.
Exactly.
And
And
some go with the flow and some may not, but then again, no one has to, not everyone has to join the boat.
and electronic music is gonna be here forever. It's gonna shape the future, of course. And I think we need to touch more people. So being close to a specific genre or a specific, let's say, subgenre, I think it's, for me, it's something I wouldn't be able to do the same thing. And as you can see from my releases from 2019 until today, not even a release resembles to another. Let's say I always do something different. tempo, approach-wise. I keep the same elements, the scenes, the melody that I really like, and very influenced me from post-punk, post-rock. And yeah, try always to develop and touch more people and to try new things.
And gain new fans, new people,
Exactly.
new sectants.
New sectants.
I don't even know if it's a word in English, sectant. It's a word in my language. So I think, yeah, I can.
It's a nice one, though. Yeah, it's a nice
But
one,
I think
though.
it is, yeah, it should, like, sectant.
Putting the tracks in the studio is one thing, and playing them live is a different thing, in the sense of the way I'm interpreting the lyrics, or I'm playing the melodies, adding on top of the tracks in a live setting. It's not always the same thing. I mean, I'm not playing something that let's say okay, I'm gonna play this note at this moment, etc. It's something that I know where I can move, and play and develop myself in different parts of the song. But I have nothing, let's say, set on my mind. Okay, I'm gonna play like this. I feel jumping down, I'm singing, I'm running, I want to add something. I know the track, I know in which key I'm in, I know my scene, I know how to use it, so I can add something easily, or add a clap or something in a live setting. So concerning the studio, it's really, let's say, at the moment, it's a mix of digital and audio equipment that I have. I'm mostly using, let's say, drum patterns that I create either on a sampler that I have here or on the TR-09. And with a lot of effects, I'm trying to find a drum pattern that I like. And from that point, I try to lay down a bass line, have a groovy, and I think it's pretty much that. After that moment, if I have like take the structure and the bases, I record it, I put it in, let's say, with the audio in Ableton, and then afterwards I close it, and then the next day I start again, and I have a fresh idea, and next day it's the same. I work beat by beat, let's say. It has happened to me sometimes to write a total remix or a track in 2 hours. It's very rare, but it happens. It's as if I start a melody, or I'm playing the piano, for example, and I have my scenes, and I get like 2, 3, 5 notes, and say, okay, pop, I know how to do it. I know what I want to hear. It's actually playing some music and imagining the before and the after, and trying to transcribe it in a way that it's going to be dance, it's going to be pleasant to the ear, and it's going to be groovy. It's going to be not the same thing as the other times. It comes in naturally, I would say. I don't think a lot when I do music. I just find something that pleases me and I explore it. And I'm not afraid, let's say, to explore boundaries and sounds that may refer to other genres, like, for example, house or whatever. Like, if I something that I like, as you can see here in my latest edit from Midnight Fantasies, Me or Is It You? I mean, it has some house or like some melodies that are not proper to EBM, let's say. So yeah, I mean, I'm not afraid to try new things and to make a melody of the things I like. So yeah, and everything starts here. The vocals behind them, it varies. It comes with a lot of depth, a lot of energy. Others have more shouting. Others have like climaxes, as Empty City. The voice starts really building only at the end with spoken words, and at the end it breaks, and it's like cries, shouting. And it's a track that I wrote. Empty City is a track that I wrote during the COVID period, like the lockdowns, and it actually freaked me out to see an empty city.
It did.
It was complicated for me at some point because I had to do the military service in Greece. I was next to Thessaloniki, I wasn't far away, so I could come sometimes home during the week and do music. I was doing a lot of music. It was the only thing you could do. I was coming back home, I could only do music,
That's what I wanted to ask you. Do you have, I suppose you have tracks that represent your time in the army now?
Yeah, of course. You can listen to my release on Soil Records, my first release, Dark Rituals. All the tracks were written in my home studio back in Thessaloniki when I was doing my military service. I think the one that I listen to and hear, to be honest, is the one like the Empty City track. Is a track that it has been engraved, in my existence. To be honest, it's one of my favorite tracks. I really enjoy playing, and when I play it, I don't want it to end. because I know the climax. I don't want it to end because it's kind of repetitive. Like it has more, let's say, techno elements, but it builds up, and at some point it reaches a climax. You know, it has this kind of, let's say, creating pattern. Whilst most of my songs now, they have like an intro, first verse, let's say, they have a different structure, let's say more guitarist or band structure, let's say. But this track had a really straightforward climax progression, and I really like that. I really enjoyed it, and it's a track that has the melody, that has the energy, that has the darkness inside, it has the light, it has hope, it has depression, it has everything inside in one track, and I think this is what it describes me the most. You know, this is the one.
I'm gonna play it exactly after we finish the interview. For sure. I think
this is a total track for a night drive in an empty city. Maybe if we have a zombie apocalypse, it's gonna be the anthem.
That's the track. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Do you want a zombie apocalypse, or do you want a butt apocalypse? What apocalypse?
Music apocalypse. I hope. I really like the track that we did with Sydney Valette like 2 years ago. It's called La Liberté, so it's like freedom, and it was composed for a good cause in Greece by a collective, by a punk anarchist collective in Greece, in order to support the cause of an occupation that took part, let's say, in the university. And we wrote this. I wrote the track, and I asked him to put the lyrics on, so we did it together at the end. And it was a really good track. It got attention around the world with postpunk.com commenting on it. So yeah, it was really impactful. People really liked it back in Greece as well. And I think it's the most, let's say, hit or the most played song because it has a meaning. So it's a poem. It has a poem from Paul Éluard, La Liberté. So it's talking about freedom and how simple freedom is, and sometimes we tend to forget how important it is. And I can say that this is one of the most, let's say, political, powerful tracks that I have, and really I care for it. And the other track that I really like, it's a track called Alexis Zis, and it's dedicated to a young boy that was murdered by Greek police. It's called Alexis Horopoulos in 2007. And yeah, it's a track showing the revolt and showing that his spirit is still alive because he was murdered for no reason by the Greek police.
Yeah, was it a fight or what happened? I didn't know the case.
There are many versions, mainstream or non-mainstreams. The thing is, like, there were kids, 14, 15 years old, hanging out in the then anarchist area of Thessaloniki, of Athens, Exarchia. And there were some fightings, some molotovs going on in other streets, and we found them there. And I don't know, the police officer maybe did not like how the boys replied or whatever. And he says that he shot the air, but the bullet got into his body from straight forward, you know. So I don't know really what happened. I wasn't there, but we know that it was murdered. We don't know how exactly. You have like an inspiration, like, of anger, you know, inspiration of darkness, anger, revolt. People want things to change, and you cannot help by being political when you do music in Greece. You know, of course, you can do music for the crowds and the big salons and the big clubs and the happy house things happening, let's say, in the mainstream money festivals or events. But at the same time, like, there are many artists in Greece, as I said before, doing very good work, struggling to get equipment, struggling to find money and to find gigs or whatever. It's for what means people have, there's a high quality, let's say. So this was actually one of the early materials that I have wrote around 2019. Actually, this EP that got out in the label was released in Violet's Poison, the labels of Elena Viola, with a remix from Hacker and Mick Wills on that track, Meredith. These were early tracks that I, to be honest, I had a different approach on creating the tracks and adding the vocals on it. So the vocals are mostly talking about the person who is stuck, let's say, in a cycle. And Meredith is like that person, like divine person or an angel or devil or whatever anyone believes to. A person or a divine entity, let's say, that helps you, a higher power, let's say, that helps you to do something new in your life, you know. So this is what I call, and I had imagined of Meredith, so that entity that can help you advance and do a change and do something different, yeah, and get out of that cycle of that repeating loop that we're living in, and try to like have the energy to leave the cycle and create something new. There are many hidden messages from things I think I believe. Today, fortunately and unfortunately, not everyone has the leisure and the time, let's say, the valuable time to think and reflect on tracks and the music. There's so much good music going out, many artists doing many good things. I mean, it's really luxury. The time is a luxury now, I really do believe. And I really like to put some things in my tracks that maybe someone will listen again after 2 or 3 years and say, hey, I hadn't noticed this, and I hadn't thought about this, you know. And this is what
Yes.
I really like about it. He has already performed in OMBRA, Trenton Chase,
Yeah.
from Rhodos. I don't know
Yeah,
if you have met
I
him.
think in the 2019 edition.
Before
Yeah.
the COVID, before pandemic. And I would really like to perform with him because yeah, we get along really well. But I know he has retired himself from the scene at the moment, so he's not really active. But I think one Greek guy that I really like and enjoy is Miltiadis, who has different projects. Miltiadis, Outermost, K100 Signals. He's a very good artist under the radar that I discovered a few years ago. Very dedicated, very unique approach. We have performed together here in Strasbourg a couple of years ago, me playing live drums, he doing his set. Just a crazy jam in a small club when people went crazy. And I think it would be nice to perform something crazy.
Great. And OMBRA is the place where to perform crazy.
I would say this, and if I can add another one from European artists, I think there's a guy in Belarus at the moment. His name is Rudiment. He's doing very I don't know if you know him. He's doing very good music, very live, unique things, and he's mixing EBM with trance, but in a very unique way, only with machines. Very nice. I really follow his work, and I'm really fond of what he's doing at the moment. I mean, your crowd, OMBRA crowd, is a very experienced crowd. They know what they want, and I know that they have expectations. So what I can say is, let's have 1 hour together that we will not forget, and it's gonna stay in for the books. So let's enjoy it together, next to it, dance, as if we were in a metal mosh pit, whatever, you know. It's gonna be crazy. I want it to be crazy. So
this is how it's gonna be.
Let's enjoy one crazy hour together and see what happens, you know.
Okay.
It may work, it may not work. Let's spend 1 hour and we'll talk about it.
We'll dance about it.
We'll dance about it, and then all night long with all the other amazing acts. So we'll dance together. And for the new coming artists, I mean, I still consider myself as a new coming artist, let's say. Still, as you said, I'm really rather new to the scene. I think the most important is to reach out to artists that they have been performing and playing and get some feedback and advice from them, because this is what I don't really appreciate when from other artists when I started, let's say, because I was influenced and inspired by many artists and had questions. I had let's say there were only a few artists that they really took the time to reply and talk. Like for example, Luca Kersis, he was one of them. as well as Kris Baha. The most first thing, so they don't have to be shy. They have to work on their music, try to get better and better with every track, and learn new techniques and do whatever they want and they like. Even it's totally experimental, as we said before. Jean-Michel Jarre, Oxygen, boom, it's getting crazy, you know. You can play your music as long as you believe 100% is your music. You're gonna make it. It's gonna happen. You know, as long as you believe in your music and you do it with all your heart, it's going to happen. There's no error in it. It's going to happen. Whatever it,
message to deliver,
yeah,
is gonna be even stronger.
Exactly. Whatever you want to happen in the way you want it to happen, it will happen. You just have to wish for it, work for it, and it will happen sooner or later. And the patience, of course, is really important. But yeah, to sum it up, I think it's that don't be shy, work for it, love it, and ask for advice to other people. And older artists as well have to be open to help new people get into the scene. I mean, it's not a closed world. I mean, people can
And it's
come.
a big one.
Yeah,
And
totally.
full of talent. Yeah.